So let's just talk about form validation in React. So the form validation ensures that the user provided the correct data in the form. And there are several ways we can perform the validation. So in React, we can use the basic validation using the local state, or also we can use external libraries to perform that validation. So here we have one simple form with the username and the password and a submit button. So let's now see how we can perform basic validation using React state. So here we're going to use two states, one which will hold the form data. So the form data will be one object containing the username, and also we're going to have the password. Now to keep track of all the errors in the form, we're going to create another state, errors, and this will be one empty object. So the form data state will contain data from the form, and the errors will contain all the errors. So in the input field, first of all, we need the onChange handler. So we're gonna call the handle change, and in the password also we're gonna call the handle change event handler. So let's now define the handle change. So here we're gonna set the form data. We're gonna spread the previous form data. Now to update the username or the password. So because both the username and the password will call the handle change, so we're gonna use the general approach. So we're gonna use e.target.name. So this can be either the username or the password, and we're gonna get the value. So e.target.value. So this is one general approach. The name can be either the username or the password, and the value will come from those respective input fields. Now the value of the username will be form data dot username. So the value in the password will be form data dot password. So every change in the input field will update the form data, username, and the password. Now we have to perform validation if the form data is valid or not. So let's now define the validate function. So let's now create object of form errors. So first of all, if the form data username does not exist, in that case we are going to set the form errors dot username, and the error message will be username required. If we do not have the password, in that case we're gonna set the form error dot password. So the password error message will be password is required. Else if form data password length is less than of 6 character, so the password error message will be password must be of 6 characters. So once we have done with the form errors object, we're gonna set the error to the React state. So we're gonna use the set errors, and we're gonna set the error. Now the validate function will return boolean value. So we are basically going to check the length of this object. So let's now return object.keys, and we're gonna check the number of keys in the form errors object. So if the length is 0, that means there is no error. So we're gonna return true. That means our form data is valid. So here is our username and password. So whenever we type, we wanted to show the error message right below the username and the password. So if there is any error message related to the username, we're gonna show this right below here. So if there is error dot username, then we're gonna show the error errors dot username. So if there is any username error exists, then we're gonna show the username error message. We're gonna do the same with the password also. So errors dot password, then we're gonna show the password error right below the password input. And finally we have to handle the submit button. So onSubmit, we're gonna call the handle submit. So let's now define handle submit. So const handle submit. So first of all, we have to prevent the default behavior. So e dot prevent default. Now before submitting the form data, first of all we need to validate. So if form data is valid, then we're gonna alert form submitted successfully. So here is our username and the password field. So first of all, if we do not enter any username and the password and click on login, you can see we have the message right below the username and the password, username required, password required. Now if we enter the username, so we have only the password error. So if we enter password, also we are getting another error message asking to have at least 6 characters. So let's now enter 6 characters and click on login. So you can see now the form data is submitted successfully. So our form data is valid, so everything worked fine. So this way we can perform simple form validation using React State. But whenever we have a larger file size, in that case we can use third-party libraries like the Formic, which will be a lot more efficient in that case. So that's it for the video. See you in the next one. Take care.